as a woman entrepreneur, like this is such a great experience being with just, other ladies out there that they're, looking into investing in real estate, or maybe they have already invested, but now they want to scale their business. And I think one of the biggest things when it comes to doing flipping or, anything in real estate, it comes down to the acquisition, right? So the acquisition is, the number one tool. And that's why we focus so much on money producers. And money producers is basically finding a deal. So if you can't find a deal, then there's no business, right? And I think for a lot of people, having a property, their first flip, or multiple, properties in their pipeline or in their flipping business, it's really important, especially if you have set financial goals, right? So a lot of people set up financial goals, and a lot of them only set up a number of properties that they want to flip per year. So I think everything starts there when it comes to acquisitions. So for example, I used to think that the number of properties was what it was going to get me, that financial freedom and that lifestyle. And then a year after, I find out that I was not what it was. What it was setting a financial goal. So I have done, a lot of properties a year, but I switched that mindset to how much do I want to make a year? And based on that, that's how I restructure my acquisitions. So when it comes to acquiring properties, I have done everything from putting up a bandit sign, knocking doors, mailing campaigns, you name it, right? There's a lot of things that you have probably already done as well. And those are good ways to find properties. Those are, they will give you great returns. But I think when you're trying to scale your business, that's when you need to think about what are those things that I can do that will require less of my time and that can be outsourced. And so I faced this, a couple of years ago. I was spending a lot of time and a lot of energy. I think energy is really important. We always talk about a return on investment, but what about your energy? Are you getting all that energy back? Are you not only making money, but are you happy with what you have going on? So when it comes to acquisitions, one of the things that, or actually I had an acquisitions team. So we had about 6 people in our, as a virtual assistants overseas. And then we had about 4 people in our office who were, doing all the acquisitions part, and generating leads, doing cold calling, text messages, voice blasts, and all of that. So you see how we went from doing bandit signs, doing mailing campaign, doing door knocking. Then we transferred to doing voicemail, cold calling, ringless voicemail, text messages, and all of that, which is SMS. And that was a big jump, not only in time, but also in marketing expenses, to the point where we were spending over $15,000 a month, not including labor, for everyone that was working, or commissions that we were giving out. Now, did it bring us properties? Yes, it did. Just the way that, that any off-market property will. So, I'm sorry, any other, I will say like the old school marketing, that's bandit signs and all of that. So, yes, we got properties either way. And, but it was this one thing where I was like, okay, now we switch to this other way of doing deals, but I'm still spending a lot of my time. I'm still, working in the business. So one of the things that brought me into real estate was the promise. And the promise, and I think everyone in here have, or it's one of the motivations why they're in real estate, because of financial freedom and a lifestyle, right? So we're all want that. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're doing real estate. So that was, that was one of the reasons why in the first place, I invested over $50,000 in education for my first flip. So this is, and I'm mentioning this because it's really important to invest in your business, right? Not only on the marketing side, but on the mindset part. It's really important because it's going to help you grow. Now, as far as, from going to doing the old school marketing, moving into this new, marketing style with cold calling and all of that, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm being more financial freedom, but I'm still not able to fully, have that lifestyle that I want to have, not being in my office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. coaching everyone in my team. Because when it comes to leads, we have to be, coaching our teams. How many deals do we got? How many leads do we get? How many people are we following up with? How many did we close? What leads are we skip tracing this week? So it was just too much. So by the time that I switched to this new model that I'm gonna share with you guys here, I was actually the flipping business was already. I had a transaction coordinator, project manager. I put systems in place. I trained them. I gave them everything they needed in order to perform like without me, right? So when I got to this point, basically what I did was is think about like, where do I want to go moving forward? Because we already were able to handle this, all the flipping, but what about the acquisitions? Like I still need to be there and I still need to, put time and energy in that. So that's when I decided to find other ways to do marketing. And one of the questions that I asked myself was, who has my houses? Like not who can bring them, but who has my houses? Like who are the people that has my properties? And then I thought, okay, well, real estate agents, wholesalers, and other investors. I mean, they're already doing whatever it takes to get a property. A agent is doing, they're doing marketing, networking, they're doing, door knocking, whatever it is they're doing, but they already have properties. That's what they're working on, If they want a transaction, they need to get themselves out there and find properties. So same thing with wholesalers, same thing with other investors. And so that's when I said, you know what? I don't know how is this going to go. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to go well, but I do know that I trust myself and that I'm going to find a way to work with them and not being able to and stop coming into the office, Monday through Saturday sometimes. And then just like I said, I made a decision. I came, to my office. Actually, I think it was the following day, if I'm not wrong. And then I had a conversation with everyone in the office. And I literally, I let them go because I couldn't, afford paying that amount of money every single week and monthly and marketing. And if I wasn't getting that time freedom. So I was getting the financial freedom, but I was not getting the lifestyle or the time freedom that I needed. And sometimes, a lot of people ask me, oh, that's mean. Like, why will you let people go, right? Like they have a family and all of that. And I totally understand that, but you're running a business, And also when it comes to that, sometimes you're keeping them from growing as well, because if they already know and they already, they're killing it in the business, you're probably just, stopping them from growing somewhere else, somewhere where they can either earn more, right, or become an expert on something else that you didn't teach them. So everything is a process, life is a process, and this, there's times where we have to make decisions, and this one was one of them. And I think, it was one of my hardest decisions that I have made when it comes to, I think the hardest decisions are when you're dealing with people, right? So that's what happened. Then from there, moving forward, I started to working with real estate agents, wholesalers, other investors, and on because sometimes a lot of times we say, oh well, why will your real estate agent will want to work with me? And there's plenty. I can give you like 100 answers of why would they want to work with you. But the main thing here is think about how many listings are in your current market and search for how many agents are in your market. And you will realize that there's more agents than the listings. And that means that there's an agent out there without a property, without a transaction. And they're looking for you to work with. I mean, they want business. So it's about an offer, it's about an opportunity. And that's how we put it. That's with real estate agents, that's how we put it. Hey, we have this opportunity where you can work with us. We'll do the onboarding. We'll give you all the systems. We'll give you all the training that you need to go and find us deals and not leads. So that's another thing. When it comes to working with real estate agents, we want deals and we don't want leads. So I used to get leads when I was doing the old school marketing and the new, the new thing too. But working with real estate agents and wholesalers in this group, it turned our business into now we only get deals and we sign offers. So that's how we've been able to source our deals, find deals in the last 2 years already. In June will be 2 years. So for the last 2 years, I haven't done a mailing campaign. I haven't done a door knocking, bandit sign. I haven't done any of the old school marketing. And I have not even walked a property or give an offer to a seller. Why? Because we got so good at finding agents, qualifying them, giving them the training, giving them the onboarding, giving them systems so they can perform without us. Same thing with wholesalers as well. And I think that was the biggest thing for us now is getting better and better at that. And so for you guys that are doing marketing campaigns, doing maybe cold calling, maybe text messages or mailing or branded signs, what are the things that I do? And I don't intend to move anyone from what they're doing to what I'm doing, but as long as you're getting deals, as long as you're getting deals, that is great. Keep doing what you're doing, as long as you're getting deals. But it comes to a point where if you're looking to scale your business, that's when you got to think about what else can I do to dedicate more time, more of my energy, more of my more of my work to scaling my business and being stuck in the acquisitions, because that's what can happen. Like there's people that are flipping for 10 years, 15 years. The other day I was talking to one that was flipping like close to 20 years and they're still doing everything and they're still working properties, and they're still meeting with sellers. And that's where I was afraid of being. That's where you don't want to be, because I think if from the time that I started my business to now, it really and everything has happened in 4 years, and now we're scaled to like 7 figures. So what did I do different than these people is that I thought about scaling and I thought about outsourcing. So outsourcing, it's really, really important. Think about all the things that you're doing right now in your acquisitions and in the process of your flips. How many of you guys are probably flipping in here? I don't know how many are flipping, but so that is really important. Thinking about what are you doing? What are you, just from Monday to Friday, how many hours are you investing in real estate? How many hours are towards your acquisitions? How many hours are towards your buying process, your renovation process, and your selling process? So if you split those things, then you're going to see, okay, where do I really need to be and where do I don't need to be? Because that's when you really realize that sometimes we're mismanage our time, and that's what will stop us from growing. Because once you start working on the business, that's when actually things change for good. So for example, for me, I used to flip properties where I was making $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, maybe $35,000 max in the first 2 years. So we switched that to a minimum of $50,000 per flip to a maximum of 150,000. So last week we closed one at $150,000 on profits. And then right now we're on another flip that we're about to list. I think it's already listed yesterday or today, I think. And that one, it's like $140,000 or something, 130 something dollars. And so think about that. You know, how many flips do you need right now? Or how much are you making right now in each flip that will get you to that number? So if I think 2 years ago, I needed about 5 properties to get there, or more. And 5 properties is a lot. And now only 1 property gives me that, you know? So that is huge. But how did I got here? The reason why did I got here is because 1, I outsourced my acquisitions. 2, because I started to delegate everything that I was doing, project management, transactions. And then 3 was because now I had more time to focus more on what to look for, are my purchase criteria. So now we're even get picky, like I'm not getting this or I'm not getting the other thing, you know? There's some hot markets out there. A lot of people think that, oh, maybe you're not in my market. But hey, I know people that are in your market and that they're killing it, you know? So it's just that they're doing something different or something that you haven't probably already figured out, or maybe they just put in so much more time, energy into it, or different strategies. So I think that's the thing. When you start thinking about what are others are doing, you know, what are they doing? What are those things that they're doing different than I? And that's why, you know, when it comes to real estate, networking, it's super important. Networking, and some people call it like, don't be a secret agent, you know? Instead, get yourself up there. Get yourself up there, ask questions. And that's how I was from the beginning. When I was for my first networking event, I was just asking questions and questions and questions. I was getting answers. And, you know, and that's how and to the day of now, like into today, hey, you know, now our problems and our conversations, my conversations have been gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, you know? So that is, you know, that is super important. Networking, and also, you know, investing in yourself, investing in education, investing in how you can, you know, grow your business. It's super important, because that is, you know, definitely pays off. So yeah, Marlene, I don't know if you guys want to ask any questions, and maybe we can, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story with us about your business growth and your learnings and where you ended up. I know I'm kind of curious to hear, if you were to start again knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently? Like, where would you start today as far as your acquisitions?
Yeah. So as far as my acquisitions, I will say the same model that I'm doing right now, real estate agents. And actually, I was told this when I first started, like in my first year, in my first boot camp that I had for real estate, I was told about real estate agents. But there's a difference between like just saying, you know, just go with real estate agents, tell them your purchase criteria, let them bring you properties, and give them, you know, the listing side so they can bring you properties. There's a difference between that and the difference of that and what are we actually doing. So I think if I were to start over, I would probably have dig more into, okay, what are the best ways to actually do it? You know, what value can I bring to this agent? What are they looking for? You know, how can I work with them? What can I provide as far as systems? You know, and because that's the thing, and that's why we're able to get properties, because everything comes down to finding them, qualifying them, bringing them on board, giving them processes, giving them systems, and to be able to bring us deals without us having to walk the property and without us having to do anything but sign offers. So I think I will probably have gotten, I'll probably, if I were to go back, that will be, you know, what I will implement first. That, and also $0 marketing campaign. So $0 marketing campaign, a lot of people, you know, when it comes to a lot of investors, they spend a lot of money in bandit signs and mailing campaign, and you know, in all of those campaigns that you got to do, right? But many think, you know, about what are the free ways. You know, I always think about how can I save money, and there's a lot of things, you know, that you can do without having to spend money in marketing campaigns that will require a little bit more of time. But I think that's another thing for me, because after I, you know, started real estate, I spent a lot of money in, you know, in some courses that I got. And so it left me with almost no money to invest in my marketing campaigns. And so I still needed to like figure it out how I was going to do my mailing campaign, bandit signs, you know, $200 here, $300 there, and all of that. So after like maybe a year and a half or 2 years after, that's when I started to also build an off-market or free marketing, you know, campaigns or whatever. And it's, you know, it's as simple as, you know, referral fees, you know, state sales, you know, yard sales, and all those kind of things. So there's a lot of things, you know, when it comes to acquiring properties. But definitely, you know, for me, and for everyone that it's watching, I think it's important to leverage what's already in there, and that is working with other people who has properties already.